Good day, everyone. This is Brian again. Today we're going to be starting up a series called Intro to Technical Trading. This will also be the lead-in if you're going to be doing price action. One of the things I thought I would do is showing how to install MT4, some of the basic features. Will be in the first video. Second video we'll get into some of the shortcut keys, things like that. And the third video we're going to be showing how to troubleshoot MT4. If you're not familiar with MT4, it is this. It is your trading platform. It gives you your price feeds, shows you what the market's doing. As in the first series, Introduction to Binary Options Trading, you never want to trade off of the broker charts. It's just crap. It doesn't give you enough information. And plus, you want to be able to compare the price feed of a reliable broker with what your broker is giving you to see if they're actually giving you consistent, reliable prices, or they're just shoving down crap prices down your throat, which it's been heard of. So the first thing we're going to look at is I'm going to be showing you how to set up with FXCM. You can use whatever broker you want. There's a lot of good ones out there. There is Trader's Way, Awanda, FXCM. It really doesn't matter since you're not going to be live trading from it anyway. Basically, you want something with a free practice account that won't expire after 30 days. I'm going to show you a couple different ways. A lot of people come here, open an account, register. If you're on the FXM site, just scroll all the way to the bottom and it'll say and have a download section. It'll say MetaTrader 4. Click on it and it'll allow you to download it directly. And what we're going to do is see if we have to register or not to get an account going. So download was done. Here it is. We're going to start this up. Now before we get going, this is 32-bit. Anyway, I'll just do it with 32-bit. Okay, so the first thing I do is I open up and I go to my computer and I created a folder, and this is just for the video for the purpose of it, but you can see down here it's MT4. I guess let me explain why I do this. Windows has something called user account controls. It will cause hell with getting custom indicators added into MT4. Also, what I'm trying to avoid is MT4 using a roaming profile, because then it makes it hard to find in some cases where your indicators are, and depending, they'll disappear, reappear. Sometimes you won't be able to add them, sometimes you will. So what I'm going to show you, and one of the drawbacks lately with MT4, just so you know, is they've been pushing out so many updates. The beginning of this year, we were in the 500 build range, like 590 something, and we are now all the way up to build. I'm on build 710. Some people are on build 711. We'll see what this one gives us once we install it. But what I do is I just go to my C drive, right-click, New, create a folder, name it. The one I had named, let me delete that. I did one that's just AA video, so it would be at the top of the list. Do we need to do anything with it? No, you just need to know where it is. Okay, so once you've downloaded it, we're going to go ahead and click that open. You're going to click on Next. You just go ahead and hit Agree. Next. Okay, now installation folder. We want to stop here because it's going to put it in Program Files x86 by default. That will put it under the Windows UAC control, and we do not want that. It'll save you a ton of headaches if we don't do that. The last thing we want to do is launch program after successful installation. And for this case, we'll just leave it in. That's fine. We're not going to open up the MQ5 community website, create a desktop shortcut. So we're going to go to Browse. I'm going to go to my C drive, and there's my AA video folder. You don't have to click into it, just click it, hit OK. Now installation folder should show C drive and the folder that you've created. Let's do Next. It'll say you created it already exists. Do we want to install? Yes, we do. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and start the installation progress. And it doesn't take too long. Once it's completed, it'll say Finish. Just go ahead and click on Finish. It's going to go ahead and open it up since we left it selected. Now, the reason I'm asking is because a lot of people get to this point with MetaTrader, and then they get stuck. They don't realize that you have to create an account, connect, because they're like, okay, it's open, but I don't have anything, so what the hell? So we're going to go ahead and cover that. One of the reasons I say I wasn't going to open it up, but we're just going to open it up so a lot of people can see where they get stuck. And then once we're gone from there, okay, so it says open an account and it gives us a bunch of lists. We're going to hit cancel on this right now because a lot of people ignore this fact and it doesn't give a pop-up on some brokers. Down at the bottom right, you'll notice it says no connection. If you have your MT4 and you see that, then there's your problem. If we go to login, it asks for a login. You don't have one yet. Okay, so we're going to pause here. We're going to close MT4. Now, here is my icon. Next step, and we're going to be, like I said, we're going to do this for the ease of you being able to install custom indicators. You're going to right click on it and go to properties. Now it might open up to the shortcut tab or it might open up to the general tab. We want it on the shortcut tab. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tell it to not use a roaming profile. The way we do that is switch the mode that MT4 thinks it's running in with a little addition to the target command. Nothing complicated. We're going to put in the word a forward slash, and portable, PORTABLE. That tells it to not use a roaming profile, basically. It does more than that, but for now. Now, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't put in the space. So I hit apply. It's going to say specified the target box is not valid. So if you get that, that means you typed it in incorrectly. So it needs to make sure you put in a space and portable. Now when I hit apply, it's going to say I need administrator privileges depending on your OS. Hit continue. Now we're good. So for compatibility, the next thing I want to do is go to the compatibility tab. I want this to run as administrator. Reason being is then the Windows account control won't take into effect and try and stop some of these, because stop your indicators from showing. So hit apply and OK. Now we're ready to open it up. And it might take a second because this is basically running in normal and running administrator. This is the first time it thinks it's running as administrator too. Sorry, I'm having someone actually complain about MT4 in another update. Okay, so now we get back. It's an administrator. Everything's set up the way we want it. So in this case, I'm going to get rid of this just in case you don't have it. So you might open up to just the screen and you're like, what the hell, I still don't have a connection. Top left, go to File, Open an Account, pick your server. This one has a ton of servers. What you're looking for is the ping time. Pick whichever one has the best ping time. I'm going to pick the first one, 16 megaseconds. If you're not sure, hit Scan. It will rescan them for you. As you can see, I got different results. I'd recommend maybe scan 2 or 3 times. See which one comes in consistently the lowest, which for me so far it is the USD demo, which I would want right here. I'm looking at these bottom two since I'm USD. I'm getting 88.5 milliseconds. I have it highlighted. Hit next. New demo account. That's all we need to mark. Click next. Okay, so in here you can just put in bullshit. It doesn't have to be real. Account type, we want to make sure mark USA or whatever country you are in. You can pick a deposit if you want. Here, I'll put 50,000 in my account. Hit I agree and hit next. What should happen next is it's going to connect. You want to make sure it gives you a login and password here. The investor, you can ignore this. What I do is I screenshot this and save it in case I lose my password. So I'm going to just save it. There we go. Okay, so mine's saved. Now when I hit finish, we should get a little bit of noise. And if we look down at connection now down at the bottom, we should get a connection status with green over red. And if we click, it'll say external 92 milliseconds, so we know that we are now connected. The other reason we should know is we should now have prices moving. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is let's go ahead and clean up the chart space a little bit. And I'm going to start, this is just a basic walkthrough of some of the features. So I'm going to close everything, so we're looking at a blank blah. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, of course, is you'd want to be able to add in a chart. To add in a chart, you can go to File, New Chart, and it should give you a list of all the charts. If by chance the broker you're using does not have the chart you're looking for, go to Market Watch, right click, and go to Show All. That will show every pair that they offer. FXCM has a ton of pairs. That's why some people like it, because they can match it up to what their brokers offers. Okay, so you can add charts one of two ways. If you have Market Watch open, which you just drag it, and there it is. Here's Euro USD H1. The other way you can do it is go to File, New Chart, and we click on it. If you hit GPD USD, there we go. Now, if you look down at the bottom, we have two tabs now. We have Euro and Cable. So let's go ahead and close the Market Watch, and let's look at the chart a little bit, see if we can play with that. Up at the top, we have zoom buttons. Plus zooms us in, minus zooms us out. So let's zoom in. If you don't, right now this is a default setup. These are called pin bars. Let's say we don't like the grid. You can remove the grid right here with grid. Now we just have a black background. Next thing for manipulating the chart, if you go to Properties, this is your color scheme. You can pick different color schemes, yellow on black, and it gives you a little sample, green on black, black on white. If you don't like any of these, you can always adjust them. But that's how you adjust your colors. So we go into Properties again, Common tab, Offline chart, we're not going to go into that too much. That's for later on. Chart on foreground. I do chart on foreground. That puts your candlesticks or your pin bars above any of the indicators, not behind them. Chart auto scroll you want on, otherwise the chart will not move and follow price. It has bar chart, candlesticks, or line chart. I prefer candlesticks. Show OHLC. I leave that in. Show period separators. Go ahead and throw it on. What that does is show the closing of the day for your broker. Okay, so now we switch to candlesticks. Another thing that people get concerned by is the time your broker is giving you. It doesn't match your local time. Well, it's not gonna. You cannot control the time on MT4. It takes it from the servers. Wherever the servers are located, that is going to be your MT4 time. So if you're an American trader, for instance, and you're on the East Coast, if you pick a Wanda, it will match up with you. But if I use it, I'm in Central Time. I'm 1 hour behind, but I cannot adjust that. You just have to deal with it. The server time coming from the brokers is going to be what they give you, so that might be something to take into consideration. Let's see what we'll cover next. If we go into properties now, and let's go back here, we'll talk about some of the colors. Colors, you can change almost everything on the chart. Background's the background, of course. Foreground's white. If we change it to pink, I'll show you what that is, or red or something. That changes the price around the bottom and the sides. Let's go back to white because pink would look hideous. Grid is light slate gray. Grid also controls your price lines. So right now it's a light gray. I'm going to change it to white. Bar up, bar down. So bar up, let's make some sense. Green. And again, you can do these whatever color you want. Bar down, I'm going to do red. A bull candle and a bear candle. That's the outline. So now we have, that's the interior of the candle now. So we have the outlines now, and if you look on our little handy dandy preview, this is what the chart would look like minus the grid. So let's say bull. Of course, bull means upwards. So we have green, and bear candle, we'll do it red. Okay, so the last thing, line graph, I prefer to change it to orange. I do use it occasionally. And there we go. So if we hit OK, now we have green and red bars. Pretty simple from color manipulation. You can do it however you want. Change the colors, make it comfortable for your eyes. You're going to be staring at it. Let's cover if you have a smaller monitor. One of the things you can do is we have two rows of toolbars. If you notice on the left-hand side, there's a little line that goes down that's kind of dashed. What I do is I drag my toolbar up here, and I drag it up here by just holding down the left-hand mouse button. You can drag these around. Now that gave me a little bit more room on the chart. That sums up just getting that portion set up. We're on a daily chart. These white lines are each day. In between this is 1 day. Let's jump to a 5-minute so it's not as cluttered. Okay, so here's a 5-minute chart. I guess we should cover that. Up at the top, you'll see M1, M5, M15, M30, H1, H4. Those are your time frames, of course. One of the things I do prefer, and we'll go through the buttons, we have bar chart, candlestick chart, and line chart. Most commonly you see is a candlestick. I will use one of these two. I use this one occasionally just to spot support and resist. Your zoom in and out are next. Next is tile windows. If you do it, it tiles your windows. If you want to make the chart big, just same as windows, you can use that. The little enlarge button. Next we have something I use. This is called chart shift. If we watch the chart, it shifts the chart this way because I do put indicators in this area. So I don't want price to be right on the edge, so it clutters them up. If you need it to shift, custom the shift, there's a little down arrow you'll see up here. This is chart shift. If you hold the mouse over it, you can change the chart shift to whatever you want. Moving on, the next thing we have are indicators. This is one way to add indicators in, and this is all the indicators that are available to you. This is your time frame button, and this is how you load templates, save templates, which can also all be done from right here. If you right click on the chart, we get the same thing. The time frames and our templates. Moving on, I already covered the time frames. The next is the drawing tools. Crosshair, if you hit crosshair, it does a crosshair. What's the crosshair used for? You can use it to spot, I don't know, support and resist, but you can also use it if you hold down the left-hand mouse button and move it, and this isn't really something you'd use, but that tells me that from there to there it's 33.9 pips. After the crosshair, we have vertical line. If you want to draw vertical lines, I'll leave it over here. Next, we have horizontal lines. Now to adjust a line, you just double-click it. When you do that, you should get a little white dot on both ends or a dot on both ends. Then you right-click it, go to horizontal line properties. So we can change the color of the line. We can change whether it's dashed, so we can make a dashed line. Now we have a pink dashed line. If you're blind like me and when you draw a line you'd like it to be thicker, you cannot make thicker dashed or dotted lines, only with a solid line here. And you can make it nice and thick. Now if we look, it's right there. We did pick foreground, so our candles are above it. If this is conflicting with any other indicators on your screen, you can always go into the properties and draw object as a background. So in case it's conflicting with another indicator, that's one further step you can take to try and push it out of the way. Let's see, what else do we have? Drawing tools, you can go through them. There's Fibonacci. If you want to add text to it, yeah, text sounds good. Again, you can double click on it if you want to modify it, and we could change the font to whatever you want, 32, font size, I'm sorry, and then you can change the font, color, whatever you want. So now it says text, so you can put text labels on there. Now here's arrows. You can draw any type of arrow you want, so if you want to mark your trades you've taken, like I took here. Again, kind of tiny, so you can double click it, right click, go to arrow properties. We'll do gold. To make the arrows bigger, you simply come here and hit OK, and now you get a bigger arrow. Okay, so drawing tools, there's something there that you don't see or you want. All you have to do is right click on it, go to customize, and you'll get an available box. This is all the available tools that you need. So let's say I like to be able to draw rectangles on my chart. I'll pick rectangle and insert, and looky up top we have a rectangle. So pretty easy there. That's gonna summarize. Let's see, what's the rectangle tool do? Draws rectangles. This one's kind of a pain to remove. You have to click it exactly where it is. We're gonna show how to get around that. Okay, so it took me what, 5 clicks to finally get that thing selected. You can also, if you're having issues finding things, you can go to here and you would go to where it says objects list. Now if we look at the objects list, we have a rectangle. I can highlight it and delete it, and I can delete my text. Now if I put a check mark in, it means what's selected, and we can delete. Now all the indicators are gone. So if you're having issues clicking on one, getting rid of it, you can do it that way. That's going to sum up... Let's see, that's going to sum up the most of it. Let's look at adding indicators. If we go to Navigator, we have indicators. And I'm not going to get a whole lot into this, but each indicator is listed here. You can add indicators one of two ways to the chart. So let's take a look at RSI, for instance. If I put RSI here, and I'm just going to throw it on, I'm not going to explain what these are. RSI is a sub-window. Some people, and this is just a little trick that I'm going to throw in, that's how you add the indicator on. If you want to add in, I don't know, let's see, Bollinger Bands, you click on it, your settings are there. Now we have an indicator on the top portion and the bottom portion. So what if I want to add, I don't know, MACD onto the chart, but I want it to be in with RSI. A lot of people ask, how do you layer indicators? You drag it into this window, hit OK. Now I have MACD with RSI in the same window. So that's just a quick little trick to get you through that. You can close the navigator window by hitting the X and reopen it there. Pretty simple. I'm just trying to get everyone through. Okay, so here's an issue people have. They want to add a custom indicator in. So let's say we've downloaded our custom indicator. How do I know where to put it? You go to File, Open Data Folder. Now, the way we are set up now, we're not going to be using a roaming profile, so this is always going to be where your indicators are. The next thing you want to do, and this is since build 600 kicked in, it's no longer in where they used to be. I don't even think this one will show it because it's a brand new install. But we go into MQL4 and indicators. Your indicators all just get copy and pasted into here. If it's an expert advisor, it goes into expert advisor. We don't want to shove it anywhere else. So, indicators. And there's all your indicators. That pretty much sums up on your basics for it. I can't really think of anything else. I don't want to get too in-depth in this video. I just wanted to be able to get people set up. The biggest confusion I saw was that people were getting to this point, but they didn't know about connecting or creating an account. So if you ever have a failed connection, remember you go to File and open an account. Now, there are some brokers, they will not let you take the shortcut and download the software directly. You will have to register at the website. Then you have to go through and set up a demo account. Owanda, for instance, you have to set up a demo account through their website. FXCM, though, you can kind of cheat and just blow through it. So hopefully that'll help out some of the questions people have been having with how to get MT4 up and running. I showed a few of the basic features of it. The next video will be more some cheats and shortcuts, and the third video will be troubleshooting it if it bogs down. There's a few things you can do. Let's see, on a side note, once MT4 is set up, installing it this way, let's say you want a new computer or you have two computers. All you have to do to get this little puppy on another computer is, if you go to your C drive, is you copy this folder. So you right-click, send to, pick your USB drive or whatever you're throwing in. MT4 does not actually install to your system. It runs. You can actually take MT4 to a friend's computer on a USB drive, plug it in, and it'll run just fine. It's a great way to back up all your data. So if your computer ever dies or anything, you don't lose anything, especially your indicators. I have thousands of indicators now. I've been trading for so long. It's just sad. I mean, I'll show you. If I lost my indicators, I would probably cry. So I have mine all saved, and this is just a portion of my indicators. I'm not like an indicator junkie. But hopefully the video will help you out with getting MT4 set up and running. If you do have any questions, guys, don't be afraid to hit me up. Just come ask me through the live chat room, of course, we have. Or, I don't know, just hit me up on Skype, email me, whatever. You can find me. And hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day, everyone.